Hi, I'm Dr. David Waldron, historian at Federation Uni based at Mount Helen in Ballarat. And this is Ballarat Up and Under. To begin with, the Ballarat Post Office Tower. The current Ballarat Post Office Gallery was first constructed in 1864 by the Public Works Department and is a remarkably imposing and beautiful building. It is the second largest post office in Victoria besides the Melbourne General Post Office building of the same era. Later, a telegraph office and treasury was added to the street frontage area in 1871, followed by further expansion and the addition of a clock tower, upon which we stand in 1885. Next, we'll be moving on to the Ballarat Mechanics Institute. Originating in 1820s Scotland, mechanic institutes were originally dedicated to promoting education, science and the arts to the general public. The foundation stone for this magnificent Ballarat Mechanics Institute building, designed by Charles Boycott, was first laid here in 1860 by Henry Cuthbert with full Masonic honours and ceremony to a crowd of over 10,000 spectators. Now almost 160 years old, the Ballarat Mechanics Institute continues to serve as a centre of learning and culture, featuring a lending library, heritage collection and reading room, and a calendar of cultural events and exhibitions. The image you are viewing is of the Mechanics Institute basement, housing newspapers and intriguing traces of the past. Being largely inaccessible to the public, the space has been the subject of many urban legends and folklore, exacerbated by the drawings and soot upon the roof, which has been suggested may have been examples of atropateic marks or witches' marks, or even simple graffiti from times long since past. Plans are currently underway to make the basement accessible again for visitors as a space for exploring the stories of this unique cultural institution that grew up with the city. Next, we're moving on to Henry Sutton's House of Music. Henry Sutton, 1856 to 1912, was one of Australia's most prolific and successful inventors and entrepreneurs of the 19th century. In his career, he designed, amongst many other inventions, a prototype helicopter, over 20 different types of telephone, various versions of the electric light bulb, batteries, vacuum pumps, a prototype television, and the front-wheel drive car. The room you are viewing was originally built for Henry Sutton's mother to reside in after her stroke in 1889. And at the rear of the room you can still see the fittings for Sutton's custom-built hydraulic lift, since she was no longer able to safely navigate the stairs. As there was no electricity in Ballarat at that time, a hydraulic lift driven by water pressure was the only means by which an elevator could be powered. This very successful design and Ballarat's first elevator was soon replicated across the United States and many other countries. Built by German immigrant John Reed, Reed's New York Bakery was originally built at ground level. However, the raising of Lydiard Street in line with the railway complex and train line has now left the site considerably below ground. The ovens you can see are part of the original infrastructure of the 1850s bakery. And to your right, you can see where customers were originally served by staff. It is perhaps quite a testament to Reed's business savvy that he owned both a coffee palace and a commercial hotel directly opposite of each other next to the railway station, thus catering to both markets. Next, we're moving on to the Ballarat train station and tower. Other than minor alterations, the train station complex retains its original extensive layout, which showcased the wealth and industry of Goldfields, Victoria. As historian Andrew Ward commented, the Ballarat railway station precinct is without peer in Australia. It has the most elegant train hall in the land and the largest goods shed on the trunk lines, and all this irrespective of its situation in a most extraordinary streetscape. Rarely, if ever, do the factors imparting cultural value come together as they do in this part of Lydiard Street North. From here you can also see the remarkable architecture of Lydiard Street and the spectacular goods sheds built in 1863 to our north, as well as the historic signal boxes across the road. Designed by Caselli and Figgers, the Unicorn Hotel was first built in 1854. The hotel's upper floors served as Masonic lodges in Ballarat during the 1860s and were the meeting place for the Ballarat Masonic Knights Templar. The cellar you are looking at was once the source of a serious accident when barrels slipped from a railing and injured several men employed in storing them under the hotel. This hotel was also a centrepiece of Ballarat's global role, being at the site of The Corner, which was the hub of Ballarat stockbroking when Ballarat was one of the major financial centres on the world stage during the gold rush. This has been Ballarat Up and Under. Thank you for listening.